Hi, it's Austin. I wanted to just give you guys some updates as it relates to gender and potential transition business. So, yeah, stuff has been going on with that. Um, so, just to summarize or give a preview, um, I did talk to my mom a bit about this, um, about my feelings and that I'm considering transition, basically, which went surprisingly well, actually. Which I think is because I've talked to her gradually about all this gender stuff over at least a couple of years. I think that makes a big difference. And then for another thing, um, just a few days ago, I met with an endocrinologist, a sort of a consult about potentially maybe going on testosterone. That went really well. The doctor is amazing. And then another thing is that let me look at the calendar. How long will that be? What is today? Today is April 17th. Wow. Yeah. So in slightly less than 2 weeks, on April 30th, I have a consult appointment in person with Dr. Crane in the San Francisco Bay Area about top surgery. So, like, a lot of big milestones, really. Um, so, okay, I'll mention the visit to Dr. Crane, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks. Yeah, so I live close enough to do an in-person consultation. I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be really good to get some questions answered, questions I've been really wondering about for a long time, like which surgery method am I a candidate for? Because I'm not sure if I'm small enough for the like keyhole or whatever he calls it or not. So yeah, that'll be good. And um, I am thinking that I'm just gonna do top surgery, like towards the end of this year, 2014, something like that, like in, well, over 6 months, because I already heard that he doesn't have any surgery appointments before late October, and it's April now. So, yeah, so I want to do that. I'm like, I think I said this in one of my recent videos. It's like, I've spent so many years thinking about all this stuff and so much time just feeling just basically bothered every day by this. Like, am I ever happy about this? Like, no. I mean, the sensation, yes, I'm happy about that sometimes, but in general, it's like why spend my life being bothered by that? Like, I feel like I wanted enough to do it. So there's that. Um, and I'll say a few words about my visit with the endocrinologist, which was like 3 days ago. Um, it went very well, as I said. So, my primary care doctor recommended this endocrinologist to me. My primary care doctor did some like asking around about endocrinologists because what I did, because I didn't know who to go to, or like, should I go to my primary care doctor for starters? And like, is that the like required step or something? So I emailed her, my doctor, and asked, and she asked around and found this endocrinologist in the same like medical organization as her, and said that she has had some experience working with trans people. So I was like, okay, well, I'll make an appointment with her. So I met with this endocrinologist on Monday, and she is a really nice, friendly person, which I was so happy about because I was nervous before the appointment, um, thinking like, who is this person? Like, what are they going to be like? Are they going to be positive or negative towards me? How much do they know about trans stuff? So I was so happy that this doctor is really friendly and really respectful. She's kind of young, so that probably helps with all that. And she's knowledgeable. She doesn't specialize in trans people or anything, but she's worked with some of them. She said she's never like gotten an FTM person started on hormones, but that she has worked with patients who have already started in the past and who are continuing with the hormones. So she's had experience with that. She knows a lot about the medical stuff about transition, like how the hormones work, the effects of the hormones, the risks of the hormones. Like, she knows a lot about that, so I was pretty impressed. And yeah, she had like this big old booklet, like published for medical people, about transition for both FTM and MTF. So that was cool that she took the time to get that and read it. I appreciate that. So yeah, it was like a long appointment. I got to ask a lot of questions. I came with a list of written questions, which I would recommend for anybody going to one of these like first time consult appointments. Bring questions. She answered all of them. She asked multiple times if I had more questions. So I was so happy and relieved with the appointment. So I'm thinking if there's any medical information that some of you might be interested to learn. I did ask her a question that has come up in various trans guys YouTube videos and that I've wondered about, which is that what if you're on a low dose of testosterone for a significant time, if that suits you and your identity and your goals for whatever reason? Is that bad for your health if you don't have one hormone like dominating the other one? Like, you know, in the like natural state as a female bodied person, you've got the estrogen and whatnot being dominant. And then if you go on T, like the full dose, then you got the testosterone being dominant over the female hormones. So it's like, what if you don't take that much testosterone? Is that bad for your health? And she said, no, it's not bad for your health. I mean, you would get some of the risks that you would always get from testosterone, like increased risk of heart disease and so forth. But there are no, from what she said, again, I am not a medical professional, and I am just offering my interpretation of what she said. So don't base any like major decisions off of what I'm saying now, but my understanding from what she said is that there are not special health risks associated purely with not having one hormone dominating over the other. So that's interesting. Yeah, well, anyway, so I'll stop my rambling there. So then she said that the next steps were that I could get blood tests, which I did. I got the blood test this morning. Of course, I haven't gotten any results. She had me get a cholesterol test, which I never had before, because testosterone raises your risk of heart disease, so it's good to have an idea of your cholesterol. And just a, like, blood count test, you know, to check how many red blood cells you have and all that. And, well, because testosterone can increase your red blood cells to the point where you're in danger of having clots, which can cause strokes. And then the third one was, here, I have the paper. I'll save you waiting through my pauses by looking at the paper. And also a liver blood test to see how many liver enzymes I have or whatever, because testosterone can be hard on your liver. And also a test for testosterone levels that I currently have, like, as a female-bodied person, and DHEA, like, sort of sex hormone-related thing. So just to get the baseline on all those things, and yeah. So then she said the next step after that is that basically just to let her know if and when I, like, for sure want to try testosterone. She's not having me provide a letter of recommendation, I hate that word in this usage, from my therapist, because the updated WPATH guidelines on these, like, medical protocols for trans people have been changed to suggest that it's not necessary to always require these therapist letters. So that's nice. I mean, my therapist would write a letter. She's good about that, but it's nice to not have to do that, to not have to, like, get permission for my own medical care. Although she said it could be good for her to be in contact with my therapist, like, one time and, like, touch base. Just, like, check in with my therapist, I guess. She said I don't have to. But, yeah. So, I'll do that. It's like, why not? I'm not hiding anything. So that's really it. So, there has not been much red tape yet. There could potentially be red tape when I'm dealing with bills. I have good insurance. So the deal is that I live in California, and with a somewhat recent law in California, the law states that insurance companies must cover medical care for trans people if it's medically necessary. They are supposed to cover it, and that stuff related to transition, like hormones and surgery, is technically viewed as medically necessary because it is medically necessary in order for you to be, well, in order for you to, like, live a safe and functional life in your gender that you feel on the inside. But the thing is that in California, many insurance companies, it's not like they're, like, what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's not like they're lining up to cover things for trans people. So I gather that a lot of times you have to kind of fight for it and write letters. It's like you got to write a letter yourself in your own words explaining your situation. Sometimes I guess you got to have a therapist write a letter to the insurance company and your doctor write a letter to the insurance company, all explaining your situation and explaining why it's necessary for you to, like, I don't even, like, it's so convoluted, necessary for your transition and that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that my insurance will cover it without me having to go through that really annoying process. I don't want to deal with that, so we'll see. We'll see what kind of bills I get. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions regarding this stuff. The sun just went away. Because I've just recently learned about a bunch of this stuff, and I know it's hard to find information about the steps you go through to transition and the red tape crap and all that. I'm not an expert, but I've learned some things, so feel free to ask. So, do I need to mention anything else? Yeah, so you may be wondering, am I going to go on testosterone? Well, to be honest, I haven't totally gotten to the point yet where I'm saying to myself or to others, yes, I will go on testosterone. I haven't quite gotten to that point. Although, I mean, obviously that's kind of the direction I'm going in because I got to the point of doing the blood tests, which could potentially cause a lot of red tape and headaches with my insurance if they're not nice about it. So that's a big step. So I'm going in that direction. Yeah. It's like I'm really excited about going on testosterone. Um, like when I think about experiencing those changes and being viewed as male more and treated like that, that's really exciting. Um, I guess why I'm hesitating is partly because even though I've been thinking about all this stuff for many years, it feels a little fast at this point because it's only like 5 months that I've been thinking this seriously about it, well, to the point of actually taking action. So it still feels kind of new to me to be like, it's hard to describe, like feeling male consistently and being called a different name and stuff. Like it's still kind of sinking in. So it's kind of like culture shock in a way. That's how I would describe it. So that's why it seems a little overwhelming sometimes. Like you need a period of adjustment mentally and emotionally and everything. So I'm kind of dealing with that at this time. Um, but yeah, it's like I want to try testosterone. I want to do that. It's not like I'm going to commit. I mean, nobody has to commit for like your whole life or anything, but I want to do it. I mean, and I would start on a low dose, partially just to ease my body into it so it's not a gigantic shock to my body. So I could start on kind of a low dose and then see how I feel mentally and emotionally and all that and go from there. So that's kind of the outlook at this point. Wow, yet another really long video. Um, well, I guess I had a lot of updates. So that'll do for now. I'll bring it to a close. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.